learning advertorial.
Okay.
So I am.
We are on now. Just so you know.
You want to know about the Gambia entertainment industry. You want to know the existing policies and programs of the arts and culture sector. You want to know about the governance and management of the arts associations. The program will throw a fresh light on the entertainment industry in focus. We will touch so many angles about the cultural sector, the opportunities and challenges, and interrogate them, and most importantly, offer solutions.
Ngali yende o kwa nyulle nata ka musicolu kidimandi nyulle nata ka artisolu kidimandi nyulle nata ka jado ganyandi nyulle nata o ka jololu fanam fintindi Facebook oto YouTube Facebook oto ko YouTube Gambia talent muna promotion lem Gambia talent muna promotion ngonde jaworode maribunga wate buna nge jubele wate buna nge la moile wate buna nge la kuomila Gambia talent woy ngoye dulle nata oy kantol kidimandi kantol sewondi kantol nganyandi Gambia talent buna gam talent woy ewali Pausman Diouf Inimba.
Supersonic's money transfer is giving you an unbeatable bonanza from now until the end of October. Yes! From now till the end of October, you stand a chance of winning a bag of rice when you receive monies in the Gambia from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, and Switzerland with Supersonic's money transfer. Amazing! So from now till the end of October, every time you receive monies in the Gambia from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, and Switzerland, you stand a chance of winning a bag of rice. Only 100 bags available, so hurry now and be part of the 100 lucky winners in this special unbeatable bonanza from now until the end of October with Supersonic's money transfer. Enjoy our safe, fast, reliable, and convenient money transfer service with the largest payout network in the Gambia with charges starting from $0. Yes! Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics. The unbeatable bonanza with Supersonics.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Showbiz in Focus. I am your host, Kalilu Banja, and tonight I have two important guests out of the Gambia, but they are both residing in the diaspora. They go by the name Dawda Jobarteh, an international kora player, based in Denmark. He will be joining us tonight on this important platform. We'll also be joined by Amie Dibba, a content creator. She is also living in the UK, residing in the UK at the moment. She is also from the Gambia. She was one time a singer and finally decided to be in the multimedia field. Amie will also be joining us later in this program, but we will start with Dawda Jobarteh, our brother from Brikama. Dawda, welcome to the show. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Baraka Kalilu for the invitation. I'm happy to.
Oh, yeah. So, we greet each other first in Mandinka. We start with our language, Mandinka. How is Denmark?
Denmark for Sumia and in Cairo Ninja the Kende and Simani Alten.
We'll be out of Sakura Jata Kenya, you will be out of Bagela because Yalon, the phone in Balanyo, Kunyokola, Benyola, Ningwadu, Kono. But Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin, Kununimbi, Bekulene. So, I can be not a program. Okay. So, I am so glad, Dawda, to have you on this program. and I know a lot of people are watching, all over the globe. The adverts were on to promote both you and Amie Dibba. We know you are important stakeholders in the music sector of the Gambia. I don't know whether we are going to claim you from the Danish people, because now you are a big gun for
Oh, no,
Denmark.
no, I'm for everybody,
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So Dawda, we we were looking into your profile, and
Mhm.
I must say your profile is one of the richest profiles I have ever seen. Even though I had the opportunity, to work with different artists from the Gambia and outside the Gambia, but when I check your CV, since 1994, you started music. No, no, really, really, with regards to mainstream music, on performances. I think during that time you were working with the Salam Band.
Yes,
There was an album you record together.
yes,
And after that year also, I think you work also with Pa Bobo and his band. I saw that also on your CV.
mm,
And there were other international projects and festivals that you have attended. I have seen all those things on your profile, and it's very, very rich, I must say. And I will start by to talk a little on that profile. There was one story that was written about you, and they said Dawda Jobarteh performances honor his past, which are rooted in the present and yet always look into the future. So that is the part I like about your profile, because you are somebody who have a knowledge about the cultural, sector of the Gambia, because you are a griot by tradition. And then when you started your music career, abroad, you were fusing, our music culture with different music cultures, jazz, pop, and rock music. And so this was very important. So it means like you fuse both the old generation and at the same time the modern generational music, which is happening all over the world. So I think that is very important to start from there. Who are you as a griot person coming from the Gambia? Can you tell us something about it yourself, Dawda?
like you say, I was born and raised in the Gambia, in Brikama Sanja, Jobarteh. As you said
Mm-hmm,
before, you mentioned Tara Dinding and Pa Bobo. I was born the same house and raised the same house as those two. They are my first cousin, Pa Bobo and Tara Dinding. I shared the same bed with Pa Bobo almost until the last 4 years of my time in the Gambia before I moved.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
I'm I'm from two kind of large griot family in the
mm-hmm,
Gambia because
mm-hmm,
my father is from Bansang Jobarteh. If you know that side of Jobarteh, from
mm-hmm.
Bansang, but he lived in Kembuje, Amadou Bansang Jobarteh. And my
I am
mother,
I am I am also from Bansang, so I know Amadou Bansan Jobate. He is my grandfather. I can also call him grandpa.
oh, so we are nearly from the same place.
Yeah, that is true. I am from Bansang. Yeah.
Wow, okay, so that's it. So my father family is from that part of the country. And my mother's
Okay.
side is the one from Brikama Jobate Kunda Sanchaba. Taradin,
Okay.
Taradinding's father, raised me. I was born there, as I said, and he raised me. And Jobate Kunda is also a smaller compound of Konde Kunda Alahaj by Konde. That's my
Mm-hmm.
grandfather, my maternal grandfather. And
Okay.
Taradinding's father is my uncle. And so I came from these two large, wonderful family. So I was privileged to be born into one of this family and to be born into the culture of griot and to be able to continue the tradition as our forefathers did. So
Mm-hmm.
this is me from that.
Okay. Okay, so that is important. That is important. So, can you tell us something about your career in the Gambia? How did you start? Did you start music typically in the Gambia before you leave the Gambia, or how does it happen? A little story about that.
Yes, I started, playing the drum. Normally, the griot family, we have other instrument to play, like kora, balafon, gone, or
Mm-hmm,
singing. But
mm-hmm,
I choose to play the drum because I had so much love for drum, so much happiness when I'm playing the drum. And in the beginning, it was a bit strange. My father would have wished I played the kora, and but this is what I wanted to do, and I managed to kind of convince them that I want to do this and I can do it. And so from the age of 13 years already, I started performing. First, when I was younger, like 9, 10, I was playing with Papa. We have a band together with two of
mm-hmm,
our friends. And then the older
mm-hmm,
I get, then the more I start to also interact with Tata Dindin, past brother, to play in that
mm-hmm,
band. And we were playing a lot. There was this hotel, German hotel in Gambia called Bukarabu Hotel back in the days, whereabout
mm-hmm.
Uncle Malamini Jobarteh had a connection, to this hotel. And of course, the hotel, they want to have it entertainment, to have the Kora playing there. So Pabobo and I, we start playing at that hotel already at the age of 13 years old. So Pa played the kora, I played the drum. I mean, back then I was playing on the side of the kora to knock the kora.
Which Malamin Jobata are you talking about? King Cora in Switzerland?
No. Malamin Jobat, Taradindin's father.
Taradini's father. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm,
And so I was playing with Pa a lot, in the Gambia, mainly in Brikama. We were very young, beside the hotel in Kololi
mm-hmm,
hotel. But then we
mm-hmm.
were, start performing, more like a kind of serious gigs, And so
Okay.
Pa and I, we were both so enthusiastic. We want to play, we were, involved in the music already. Pa Bobo was already traveling when he was 11 years old. He went to UK to perform there by himself,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and then so we still have this band, but then when Tada Dindin's percussion player was not there, then they would pull me in. I was very small. I remember they have to order a small chair for me to stand on it, to able to reach the drum there back then. So I
Okay.
mean, frequently he was, the guy was not there, and then I end up being the main percussion player in the band already from '94. So we released our first album in '95 called Halatu Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. Yeah.
then I have been playing with Tata. We have toured all over Gambia. I mean, I was really privileged to able to see, the entire country. Gambia is a beautiful place. I get
Yeah.
to see all the other remote areas. Kabuko and Karakokadra. So
Yeah.
I was really privileged to able to experience that. It was one of my best moments, for
Mm-hmm.
learning, this life and the music, and to be with my bigger cousins. So I was playing with Tata until 97. Then I start again to play with Pa because then we had a trip to go to UK to tour there and United States. So from there, after 97, then 98, I came to Denmark.
Okay.
And
Okay. Okay. So it means that the Tata Dindin band was the first band that exploit you in the Gambia, and you were going you were not playing only in the capital, but also in the remote areas of the country, like all the way to Koina. So if you talk about Koina, so that means you pass through Jarasoma. You
all
went to Farafenye, you went to Bansang itself, CRR, and then you were in URR also in Basse to perform for the people. So it was like local performances, that you were doing for the communities.
yes,
Um, and that is very important because some of our musicians are lacking that. I think the only band who is doing that frequently now in the Gambia is Jaliba Kuyate,
yes,
going the up country, because Tata is no more doing most of those things now. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dawda, for that introduction. Another thing is, did you record any album before leaving the Gambia, or by then you were not like a standby singer, like someone who can say, "Oh, this is Dawda Jobarteh and the band," or something like that. Did that happen to you before you traveled to Denmark?
Everybody knows me. They know me as a percussion player from Salam Band mainly, and I have been playing drums, all the time I have lived in Gambia. And after I moved to Denmark, this is when I changed from percussion to kora. But everyone who knows me in the Gambia, they knew me as a percussion player. So actually, I never had I never have an official concert in the Gambia since, I started playing the kora. I have never played music in the Gambia before.
So what can you? That is very important because we have seen a rise in the number of singers that are that are currently involved in the music sector of the Gambia, and most often a lot of people will say we don't have a lot of instrumental players, but we have many singers. So everyone wants to be a singer, but no one wants to be an instrumental player. And then in that way also, it means we will be losing our culture because we need people who can play our traditional instruments so that we can preserve the music culture of the Gambia. And it is important through your experiment, like your experience, just a percussion player moving from the Gambia and now having a renowned band that is touring all over the world. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in this culture, in the kora culture. So I have had the kora my entire life. I have, when I play percussion, it's behind a kora. And daily life, I spend my daily life around the kora. So I have had the kora all my life. It's in the head. So after I moved to Denmark, you live in an apartment. Back in Zambia, you play drum. When you want to practice, you do it at home. It's no problem to play. If this is Jalikunda, then playing percussion can be also part of it. So nobody will come and say stop. Well, I don't know if you can do that in an apartment in the Gambia, but we used to practice at home. So after living in Denmark, in an apartment, small apartment, then I start to practice my drum in my apartment. And after a few times, of course, my neighbor came and knocked and said, "Excuse me, but this cannot last. You cannot play the drum in the apartment. It's so loud." Then I say, "Wow, that's a pity." So then I from there, then I thought, okay, if I need to continue playing music as I do, maybe I should start more kind of a quiet instrument, and kora could be a better candidate for that. So this is how I start to pick up a kora. I didn't have a kora back then. I borrowed a kora from the teacher who invited me to be a jazz teacher in a school here in Denmark. He bought a kora while he was in the Gambia. Then I borrowed that kora to try to practice with it and play around and listen and just play. This is how I started.
So we will try to see if we can go to your concert in one of the biggest festivals in Europe called the Roskilde Festival. And yesterday I think we were sharing some stories with regards to a funding that we got from them some time ago in 2012 to start a music school in the Gambia. So that is important. I want to see if I can share that screen here. Maybe we should be able to maybe it's Mozilla. Yeah. So we try to see if we can Um, Let us see if that can work.
Mm.
It doesn't allow me.
Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't allow me to share the screen. I don't know why. Your browser has your screen blocked. Your address to be blocked. Okay. Yeah. Why? No. So my browser doesn't allow the screen to be shared. But anyway, so if you can give us a taste of a Quora before we go um, into the interview proper. Yeah, if we can get that from you, so that the people can know who is Dawda Jobarteh and the Quora. Yeah,
Mm.
at
Yes.
least. Uh,
So little taste for you.
yeah, that's a taste for me, Dawda. Thank you so much. Dawda, there is one important thing we will want to know about. So, when you started music in Denmark,
Mhm.
um, how did you come to form your own band that lead you to have performances in various festivals in Denmark and also in other parts of Europe? Can you tell us something about that?
Yes. Can I see you? Is it possible I can see you also so I can talk?
Yes, you are
Yes.
seeing me. We are just two in number. Yeah.
Wonderful. So then I can talk to you. It's
Yeah.
a yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I as I was already a musician when I moved to Denmark, I
Mhm.
knew the place I was working at is a
Mhm.
school. It's
Mhm.
a high school. It's not only music school, but they have a music. How do you call it? They also have a music in department in the school.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
was a teacher in the school. So and there was a lot of students, great musicians also. And before moving to Denmark, I knew a fantastic, guitar player, a guy who was friend of my uncle, who was actually the reason why I came to Denmark because he introduced the teacher who invited me here. He introduced him to our compound to Jobarteh, and this is how we met. And he
Mhm.
invited. So already I knew some musicians, So after when I started playing the kora, I was, interacting with, some few musicians, playing the kora, the percussion, but also
Mhm.
small kora, little by little. And a lot of
Mhm.
people, they so impressed, and they were motivating me by actually giving me a job from the very early stage, to come and perform the kora. So
Mhm.
and it gave me a lot of courage and motivation, to try to learn, because already it's a beautiful culture and a tradition, So I was, happy to able to have that opportunity to play the kora, even though I know I was not really a kora player. But nothing is impossible, If you love something and work hard on it, it is possible to achieve something. So I was
Exactly.
playing with some of those few in my surrounding, network that I knew the musicians, and by playing with one band, then one band, how they could discover me, and
Mhm.
so started by this, then I was already playing with, with different bands,
Mhm.
but already from the beginning, I had this, kind of feeling that I want to make my own music, and so I
Mhm.
the same time learning the kora and the same time try to compose my own music. So
Okay.
this is how it's happened, and and also one of the great things is that I have this very powerful, strong rooted tradition that I came from, the
Mhm.
tradition. So I have that, and I use that to try to because when I live here, when I travel up, when I'm learning to play the kora in Denmark, I'm surrounded by the musicians and the artists around me and the music I listen to. So that influence in the way I, compose my music or the way I arrange my music, so this is how it all happens.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dawda. Hello, Amie. Amie, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys doing? Sorry for being late.
Yeah, but you are not late. We are the problem. So, Dawda, that is Amie. And Amie is a content pro creator out of the Gambia. So, like I told you yesterday, she's a Mandinka girl, but I don't think she can speak Mandinka. So, Amie, abenyadi, iya
Kanya.
level.
Wajan kotanante.
Tanan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it don't matter. Thank you so much, Amie. Well, like I told you, we are looking into the cultural sector of the Gambia and also starting that conversation with stakeholders who are involved in the sector. And we think you are key in that drive to be able to start a discussion with regards to content creation. We don't have many people in the Gambia doing that, and that is the reason why we invited you to join us tonight. Tell us something about yourself, because a lot of people are anticipating to see you on this platform. I mean, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Like you said, my name is Amie Dibba. I am a Gambian. I was born in I was born in Texas, raised in Minneapolis. I lived in Minneapolis most of my life. I'm in UK now. And I just have to kind of go back to what you said about there not being many content creators before I talk about myself. I would beg to differ. I think that the Gambia has quite a lot of content creators, actually. And when you're on social media, informal media, you see a lot of Gambians that are just using what they have to create some really great content. And I think what we need to have more of is amplifying those voices. Because those of us that are not physically in the Gambia, we can share our ideas, we can say from our experiences, but it's become very clear that there are some really amazing voices, home-based voices that need to be amplified because the country is beautiful and there are so many things that I think all of us are learning about the country from the on the ground, homegrown content creators. So
Content creators.
I will say that first.
I will take that. I will take that. I will take that.
Yes. I just, not to take away from what you're saying, but I just have to say that because I have had an instance where someone said, and I don't think it was out of malicious intent, but someone said that in the Gambia, everybody's picking up a camera. Everyone thinks that they're a videographer or a this or a that. And to some extent, I applaud that, right? Because for someone to grab something and create, like any of us that are creative people know that we are inspired by something when we create. So for someone to take something and make something of it that people enjoy, well, kudos to you.
Yeah, kudos to you. Thank you so much, Amie. And that is the reason why we are getting someone like you, because even in the music sector, we were talking with Dawda, a lot of people will complain about, oh, we don't have quite a lot of instrumental players. And Gambia is all over. Anywhere you go, you find instrumental players. You cannot even quantify how much kora players that we have in the Gambia. you cannot quantify how much, how many percussion players that we have in the Gambia. If you go to rural Gambia, in the fuller communities, you find them playing calabash and the flute and a lot of instruments, that are amazing instruments coming from our ethnic cultural traditional dance and music coming out of the Gambia. And it's just about exploiting them and then to be able to brand them in a way whereby we could be able to market the creative sector of the Gambia. And it's important to get people like you. So, welcome to the show. Dawda Nilong Amity. This is Amie Dibba for you. Huh? Yeah. So, we were with Dawda. Dawda is also coming from the Gambia. He did started music in the Gambia with the Salam Band, and then we started Dinding, and later he found himself in Denmark. Dawda is an international player because he plays in one of the biggest festivals in Europe called the Roskilde Festival. And this festival, we know about it because they sponsored the music school in the Gambia. If you could remember, there was a Mandimori Music Academy, and this academy music was sponsored by the Roskilde Festival. And that was when we come into contact with Dawda. We know him, and we know he's doing very well in the music scene. And that is the reason why we get him here. So what we are going to do, Dawda was playing the kora, but now we want to share a screen where we will show some of the contacts, like some of the programs that Dawda was attending before. I don't know how we're gonna do that. Stop the screen sharing. Can I do this and see something like that? Amie, you're looking beautiful. I must say that.
Appreciate.
Yeah, you're looking beautiful.
Lockdown look, the lockdown quarantine look.
Okay. So, what do you mean by that? In lockdown, what is happening?
No, I'm being sarcastic. We're in lockdown. We're pretty much on punishment here in UK, so don't really go.
Okay. Wow. So, I think someone have to help me with this technique. I'm not getting it right. So anyway, let's continue. I'm not getting it right tonight. I don't know what is the problem. So Dawda.
Yes.
Dawda, welcome again back to the program. So Dawda, you were talking to us about the moments you had with regards to international performances and the concerts that you had in Europe, and not only in Denmark but outside Europe. So were they coordinated by someone, or you were behind everything? You were the one who did everything to get onto those concerts?
In my band, actually, I have been booking most of the gigs. Now I have a German booker, but before that, I have been doing all the bookings myself. I do the promotion myself. I make my own music videos. I film very much of it and then edit. And so it's, I try to do. It's not. I like to work with people. It's nice. But it's also fun to be able to do those. To be booking and all that, I would of course rather want to play, so time, on the music, but until it's possible to have someone that you work with and everything is working, then it has to be done. So I have been doing it, and I'm happy to do it because I learned a lot, and yeah, so it is part of, it's part of the thing now also.
Exactly. So it means like promotion, marketing, and booking. You are doing all that by yourself because you are able to do those things on your own. And I think that is not a problem, so multitasking here and there until you reach that day when you're going to work with Amie, because shortly Amie is going to tell us how does he create content, which kind of contents that she is creating. Just to give an example, is it YouTube contents that you are providing or just social media? Which kind of contents are you providing, Amie?
So my content differs. One of the things that I do is I have a podcast called True and Two. And so that is basically true stories from people. I interview different people from different walks of life and talk to them about their stories, because I'm a firm believer that everyone has a story. And so that podcast is essentially that. It's a tool to inspire people, to hear the voices and stories of other people and maybe gain something from it and see themselves in that person. So that's the podcast. I also have a music blog called Underground A&R, where I spend many hours looking for new talent. I look for this new talent all over. It could be in China, it could be here in UK, wherever. My goal is to just really search, and it's fun for me. I enjoy the process. I do put that content on Facebook. I put it on Instagram. I put it on Twitter. I put it on all my social media platforms. And I'm teaching myself, like Dawda said, I'm teaching myself how to do videography work. When in my undergrad program, I did some of that, but I did other work in between time. And then obviously I was singing and doing all these other things, but I decided to revisit that. And so I'm teaching myself how to do videos and edit sound and all of those things. So I'm a creative person all the way around. And that's the content that I create, whatever inspires me or whatever I can use to inspire other people, collaborate with people on their work. And A&R.
And A&R, okay. So, but what is important in the 21st century with regards to content provision, that is the new twist. And then it is important to know that there is a relationship, particularly between the cultural sector and the media sector. And it is all based on content provision. So how do you close that gap? What do you do to be able to provide to the media like some of those contents that you are creating?
To be honest with you, I am one that, yes, I had formal education in creative, in the creative sector. So my undergraduate degree was marketing and communications, minor mass communications. My master's degree is television management. So I've had formal education around it. But as a creative person, I always want to push myself to find new ways of engaging and using my creativity. So I'm not going to say to anybody, don't go to school, it's a waste of time or any of that. But what I will say is that some of my best work is from me just being inspired by something, someone, or wanting to do something and creating from that space. So all of the things that I've just listed to you that I do is because I saw something that inspired me, or I saw a void that I felt like I could fill. So you may have been able to see some of the music videos. So even though I'm teaching myself how to actually do the video, footage over again, I write scripts. I write scripts for music videos. I write concepts for music videos, and I have co-directed music videos. So, and I've been assisting on music videos. Hebu Madara. That's the way I can say it, because everything to me is, and it's fun for me. So it's a learning opportunity. Any opportunity that I have to learn, I usually will take it.
Yeah, but when I said a video director, you debunked that. Why? Why?
Because I am not solely a video director.
Okay.
Right?
But somehow.
Yes. And I have directed, but I also would not call myself a video director per se. Like for me, if I'm going to call myself a video director, I think I need to be able to say I directed this, and this. Okay. I haven't accomplished that yet. That's my goal, but I'm not there. So I'm not one who's going to try to fluff up my CV, so I can come here and say, well, no.
No,
I
okay, no, it's not. It's not actually about that. I mean, I saw some wonderful videos. Now, the KS video coming out from GSC Record, that was directed by you. The concept was
yes,
from you.
yes,
Yeah, the concept.
the concept,
So,
yes.
yeah, the concept and the direction. What is the difference? Take us
Well,
through. Yeah.
I'll say this to you. Even that was a learning process for me, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy writing stories as well. So I write scripts.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother thing, right? But I had to remember that I'm working with other creative people, right? So as
Okay.
a script writer or a content writer, I initially I had an idea. I wrote the
Mm-hmm.
idea, and here, director, direct it. And that didn't give enough space for the director
Mm-hmm.
to also see what he saw from what I wrote. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
very collaborative effort, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
even through that process, I have learned to step back and
Mm-hmm.
say, this is the concept, this is the idea. You take this,
Mm-hmm.
go with it, because you also have that creative space to use
Mm-hmm.
your expertise and your knowledge, and then we create something together, right? So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
direct it. I may have given some directive suggestions, but
Mm-hmm.
Gando was on the ground with the crew and the talent, telling them do this, this, and this. So it's a very collaborative effort. So this is why I said I didn't direct that, you know. Yes, I had a part in it, but I did not direct that video.
Okay. Okay. We understand that part. So we will come to Dawda. Dawda,
Mhm.
um, right now in the 21st century, most of the mainstream artists, we call them mainstream musicians, they are using technology, particularly the online platforms, to be able to promote and market their music. So, how do you do that with regards to the music that is coming from you? And then how can you relate that to what Amie is saying, like creating content and then like professional music videos, because we know you can do that on your own. You have a photographer, I mean you have probably a photograph, and you could be able to take pictures here and there and then make your own videos. But I mean, do you think the quality that has the quality to be able to promote you far and wide all
Yeah,
over the world?
nowadays the technology is so advanced. It's so fantastic that you can do many things with it if you know how. What you need to have is to have fantasy and to have a content and to have a subject, and the kind of music I'm doing in this area where I perform. Most of my audience, they don't understand what I say. So if I want to put a music video there and to able to tell my story without saying a word, you have to kind of find a way to connect the picture to your idea of your story. So
Mm-hmm.
in that case, then you listen to the music, then you can see, okay, what is it about, more or less. So, and it's a great opportunity. We have this platform whereby we can present the music. So therefore, one has to take the opportunity and try to do stuff. So if I make my music, I have to also try to make a music video. I mean, I was for my first music video. Actually, I paid someone who made it for me and did a fantastic job. But then afterwards, I know what story I want to say, and then therefore I want to try to make the music video myself, with all the respect to people like Amie and everything. But
Mm-hmm.
it's all about learning and trying to find your way and how can you able to present yourself, as clear as possible. And because I once saw somebody was making a music video and singing a song about something else, and all of a sudden showing a lion, and I'm like, okay, what is the connection here?
The
You know,
connection here.
if you know what I mean. So some people tend to just, okay, because sometimes we think that, okay, you want to sell Africa. We have a very rich tradition, culture, pictures, everything, but it does not mean that, when you play Kora, then you have to play Africa. No, not necessarily. It's, you have to, make a story rather than showing all the nice things, you can think of in Africa, and you just show them. This is just an example. So then I try to make my music video, even though there is no lyrics in the song, then I can try to make a picture that fit to the title of the tune. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yeah, you're making, of course, you're making sense. But my argument there is, we have like professional video directors, and we also have professional multimedia companies in the Gambia and outside the Gambia. And I guess whatever storyline that you want to sell out, they should be able to bring that into motion. So yes, yeah.
Yeah,
And then like Amie is talking about, like we already know we have a professional here like Amie who could be able to give a storyline to whatever song that you are making, and then a director also could be able to film that, and so working in unison, like that kind of collaboration between cultural practitioners. I think this is what we are promoting here. So something like that. Do you think your videos were that much efficient that both Gambians and the wider world could be able to benefit from your music videos? Because we know you're doing so great outside the Gambia, but again, quite a lot of people in the Gambia don't know Dawda Jobarteh, because we are not having your videos on the normal television stations in the Gambia, and even some of the online TV stations that are happening in the Gambia. They are not having access to those music videos.
I think that probably will be the choice of the music style I do. I don't know. I mean, I have never tried to promote my music in the Gambia. I have never, tried to send a. Yeah, I was actually many years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I went with my friends. We make this single before we go to Gambia. We make a tune, and then we went to Gambia and we tried to make a video with actually Lamin Sen. I don't know, a guy called Lamin Sen from
Lamin Junior Sen.
Exactly. We make a video, just something fun. It was a funny. We made it one day. It was like a fun process, me and my Danish friends, and then because I made this tune called Sama Kebalu, and it's about the youths in the Gambia, and I thought that it would be good to actually reach them out, with making a music video or something like that, and we did. It was fantastic, but I don't know, for some reason I have not reached out Gambia yet with my music.
Okay, so now we're going to ask Amie if he can do something about that. So Amie, what can you do certainly for working musicians like artists with regards to the contents that you are providing? I think that is important. So let's hear what Amie will say about
that. Right now, because I have a lot of different things that I'm trying to juggle and learn as well, my main thing that I offer is for music videos. So the content of that, the concepts, the scripts, and that's what I intend to focus on right now. There are things that I'm working on to be able to contribute in other ways. But for now, I think the best way, most efficient way, is focusing on music videos. And it's not to say that there are not people that are doing an amazing job. I'm inspired by a lot of, like I said, Gambian-based, or not even in the Gambia, but Gambian creators that are in the same space. But for me and what I can contribute, I would have to say that would be the main thing. But my door is always open. So that's not to say like, that's it, that's all I can do. Nobody asked me about anything else. It's just to say that right now, this is what I can say for sure, inshallah.
Okay.
Other than that, come to me and just let's have a conversation. The only thing that I don't like, and I don't think any of us like, is when people just appear when they need something. and the way that they appear when they need something and then they disappear.
Okay.
Right? That I don't.
Dawda? Yeah, Dawda, you hear my sister. So my sister
No,
is
that's
saying,
not for him. That's just
uh-huh.
and I'm saying that I'm sure he has experienced it. I'm sure that
Mm-hmm.
you have experienced it. And we are human, right? And we all
Exactly.
have our own personal lives as well. And it just does not feel good for any of us to have someone who comes and says, "Hey, how are you doing?" And the next minute, you know,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and if they don't get what they want right then and there, they're gone until something else. That I'm not here for.
Exactly.
I'll put that out in the atmosphere for whoever
Yeah.
needs to hear it. If the shoe fits, wear it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That is predominant in our sector in the Gambia, and one must say that. So Dawda, you hear what Amie is saying. So she is a content provider. She could be able to make storylines for videos, and then she can work on videos, professional ones. I have seen some images coming from her. They are just amazing and thrilling, and I think you should be able to try her.
So
Probably, yeah.
maybe maybe Amie will be the link between me and the Gambia. Because,
Exactly.
also
Exactly.
you have to know the market of how things works there. What is it what is it called, their attention and things like that. So I want to get my music to Gambia. I sing in Mandinka. My rooted musical background is it's from there. So therefore, I love to get my music out there. And because I mean some of the songs I write, it's about social social kind of I don't know if I would call it
Issues.
problem, but social things that matters. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
the Tubabs, they don't understand. I mean, that's not some of this, the things I'm talking about is actually more for our place, for Gambia or around, than here. So I was delighted to get my music out there, and making a music video nowadays is the way you have to do that. People want to see and listen, so it's the best way to do it. So maybe Amie will be my link.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. So, and there is another question coming, and I think both of you will be able to share that. And that is, how do you think artists or musicians could be able to grow their fan base? Because this is becoming a very, very important question with regards to using information technology to be able to communicate to the wider audience. Particularly the different communities that we have. Everyone has that ability to be able to create a community, in the online platforms. So, what do you think, Amie? Should we start with Amie? Amie, what do you think?
Yes, please.
That musicians.
I would say for sure two things: authenticity and
Mm-hmm.
engagement. When I say authenticity, I mean be yourself. I think a lot of times, and I understand why, but I think a lot of the time people feel like they have to present themselves as another personality in order to be liked. And that may give you a lot of followers. But if you look at, let's say, for example, you have 10,000 followers on Instagram, but every time you post something, you only get 200 likes, 300 likes. There's a disconnect, right? So I think we need to really concentrate on not how many people are following us. It's how many people are engaging with us. How are we building a community? How are we building an actual fan base? And what does that fan base do for you? Are they just staying in that space with you? Are they going to your Spotify? Are they streaming your music? Right? Are they purchasing your stuff? What is that doing for you? So I think authenticity and engagement. Engagement, when I say that, I mean being consistent. So if someone comes to your Instagram, for example, and they're following you there, and you only post once every 4 weeks, like, you know what I mean? That's
Mm-hmm.
you're not engaging for them. You're not
Okay.
doing anything to keep them there on your social media platform to keep you engaged. They came and they liked your page because they like you. They want to see more of you. That doesn't mean that you have to fall victim to social media and live there. But it means that if you have an expectation from your fans, know that they should be able to have an expectation from you. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's those are the two top things I would say off the top of my
So,
head.
but then, if I may ask, what are some of those strategies that you can do to be able to engage the fans? Because I was thinking, even by an email thread, whereby you can send to multiple people if you have a new song coming up, and then you write to them those emails, and then maybe like a kind of a video teaser that you're going to create before a new song is being brought to the public, that you can many times promote that to say a new song is coming up, something like you from something like that from you. Maybe that will engage the community or your
Let me
community.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. How many forwarded messages do you get a day on WhatsApp?
A lot.
How many of them do you actually read?
Not all of them, but 95% of them I read.
Okay, that's you, right?
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you, if we were to do a poll, I can't see the chat, but I know for a fact that in our community, we are receiving so many WhatsApp messages a day, like from the moms, the dads, the aunties, the uncles, the cousins, the family group chats. We are getting so many messages a day that when messages come through and they look like they're just like generated for everyone, people don't tend to respond, right?
Yeah.
That's not to do it, because in some instances you can. It just means that don't depend on that as your sole way of engaging with people, right? So for me, when I put out my podcast, everybody may think that everyone on my phone gets that message. No, I've gone through and looked at my contacts that engage with certain type of content that I create, and I send them those messages, and usually a conversation sparks from that. Maybe someone like you will say, "Hey, it's Monday. Where's the video?" Or someone else will say, "Oh, I like her." The reason why that person has received that message from me is because they've engaged with me about that content. So I don't just have like a mass, I think people have to really think about how they're delivering what they're delivering to people. People in this generation, we are receiving so much information that if it all feels the same, looks the same, everybody thinks it's the same. So it may be a tool, but I'm just saying be careful with how you do it and really think critically about how you deliver your stuff and who you're delivering it to.
Okay. And then, so let us hear from Dawda also. Dawda, so I think you are on Instagram and Facebook. So how do you typically engage your community? Are you doing that all by yourself, or you need professionals like Amie to do that on your behalf? Maybe not even doing that on your behalf, but to give you tips and ideas of how to do those things as a musician.
Actually, I'm first of all, I'm very shy when I'm not sitting behind my instrument or on the stage. So I have a big problem to expose myself because I'm so shy. But I know with this business, it does not go like that, So I first joined Instagram, last 2 years ago, and then it's wonderful, lady who came to me and said, I love what you do, and everything. But I can see in your Instagram, nothing is really happening, I would like to help you to try to promote and to do things that people will kind of engage. Like Amie said, you have to be authentic and to be engaging, But and for me and she want to post pictures, things, every frequent, and I'm like, oh no, it cannot go because I'm really, like it's too much for me. But she said, if you want to reach out, because people also they want to feel connected, not to only the artist, to the music. They also, because we are all human beings, So they like to see your daily life, and what you do once in a while, things like that. So, and she said, these are the things you have to do. You have to be engaging, and to be authentic. So it is she's doing that for me now. We started about half a year ago that someone else is taking care of my social media for me.
Wow, good. That is brilliant. Brilliant to know that. And then, Dawda, I read something about you. They said from pop experiment to Afro rock, Dawda Jobarteh is influenced by rock, jazz, and African music. And how do you come to do that? Is it because of the influence of the different instrumental players that you are engaging with, or is it just because of your music knowledge?
It's simply the environment. The environment, I'm influenced with the music I hear around, and most of my friends are jazz musicians, rock musicians, So I listen to those kind of music, even though it's not a choice, I listen because it's all around. And, there are so many great music in every kind of musical style. So then I get inspired by playing with some of my jazz friends and my rock friends, and I compose tunes, into those concepts once in a while. So, and also the kora has been played in the best possible way you can imagine. So therefore, I want to do things in my own way to try to see what can I create out of this rich tradition, So then I try to take the kora in another environment, a little bit different from where you might expect it. And I'm really happy of doing that, and I'm going to continue doing that.
So before we take a next break, because you were tuning the kora and you were playing in a pattern that was not very much au fait to our ears with regards to the traditional culture that we know about the kora. So we will take like about 3 minutes with you to play a typical Gambian traditional kora string. If I can give you Miniamba, I can give you Jalia Alale Jaliake, or I can give you Tumarankea. You decide what you want to play, and I know you should be able to do it just from the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want me to play a tune now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. If you want one of this tune, as you said, I thought that it would be a pity to come here and to repeat, as everyone else, So that's exactly what my point is to try to if you know what I mean. Because, for me, to be surprised, because if you see kora and you hear a kora, you exactly will do like you do. You will expect, these tunes to be played and all that. And for me, that's not who I am. That's not who I base my kind of musical, art on, So I try to do something out of this rich culture that has been played so well. So this is exactly the reason why I play for you what I do here, because this is who I am. If you listen to my other music, it's not Miniamba, it's not Kurundi Kelefa, it's not, other, Alalake, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So give us something from pop. Give us something that is pop-like, and then we let's hear that.
Do you want to continue Lil with Amie while I tune to traditional little bit, and then I'll play you a traditional tune? Is that okay?
That is not a problem. Or you can give us something like pop music because we saw that on your profile. How do you fuse the pop music with kora? But again, we can ask Amie some of the questions.
I can do that if you want. I can play one pop tune, for example. Sometimes when the kora is not familiar in entire world everywhere. Some people they don't even never seen it before.
So Uncle Badu Job is saying, Dawda, you have great songs. So please play something of your own.
Yeah, okay. I was going to play something to your request by saying something pop, because what I was trying to say, kora is not familiar to everyone. So if you see a new instrument and you hear a new music, before you will kind of get into it, it can take time, you know. But if you see a new instrument and then they play a tune that's familiar to your ears, then you kind of welcome them in a much quicker way. You know that? So I can play both. I can play sort of my tune and some pop. For example, Amie might know a tune called "Hello" by Adele. Do you know Adele?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I play this tune, then the two babs, they know it right away. Then they will stand and listen, you know. So by the time I'm getting into my own tune or traditional, I got them already. If you see my point.
Yeah,
So
we get that.
A little hello for you.
Yeah. We want to promote that. I mean, you can sing. I mean, hello.
No.
So just a little taste of Hello. This is a pop tune that I have played on my previous album. And this is a way for me, you know, to able to get the chora in a quicker way, sometimes to strength ears. So I
Wow.
don't know if this make any sense to you.
It makes a lot of sense, Dawda. Dawda, we said on your biography, they are saying Dawda Jobarteh takes his griot heritage into a bold new territory on a Kora adventure that is both audacious and thrilling. And what you are just playing right now, because we have this argument all the time. What is Gambian music? But again, we cannot be able to define that because music is a universal language.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter whether you play Afro pop, pop mbalax, dancehall mbalax, or whatsoever, the name you can give it to. But we have music genres. And then whatever genre that you're going to represent, you have to ensure that you master that genre and you can play it and the people can understand that you are playing a genre and you are playing it the right way. So, and that is the reason I have to provoke that question, because typically, if a kora player comes, we will expect the kora player to play Miniamba or to play Tramaha or to play Mamadou Bitiki, and these are traditional griot songs, and they fade away because what is happening, every traditional musician could be able to play them. But again, that is the question where the copyright comes into, where you cannot even claim it as something that is deriving from you, except if there is what you call a professional composition that has been done to change it in a different form, and then you can be able to claim that. So that was the reason I have to say that. But the music piece that is coming from Adele, Hello, wow, with the kora, amazing. Thank you so much. Amie.
Yes.
So you see a star coming from the Gambia, and what can you tell us? What can you do for musicians like Dawda with regards to some of these contents that you are providing and the communication, like the communication, the professional communication you can be able to give to them to be able to market them and also to promote them. Are you thinking in those direction, like A and R? What do you do with your A and R company? Yeah.
Yes. So in terms of contributing to Gambian artists, again, I'd have to say that because I have for a long time been that person that will sideline what I'm doing to work on other people's stuff. And so I have to be a bit selfish now and also focus on the things that I'm working on to better myself career-wise. But like I said, that doesn't mean that if someone needs advice or has a question, if I know, I'll definitely be willing, you know, because someone else has been willing to open their door and educate me or help me or assist me in some way. And I think mentorship is really important. So I won't say that that's all I can do, but I would say that on a professional basis, if someone is looking for a service to be provided to them, I would really be able to help with music video concepts, music video scripts, and that in that regard. So that's what I would want to focus on without stretching myself too thin and not being able to also do what I'm doing personally to better myself creatively.
So, but are you thinking in the nearest future to come up with your own like setup, like a media, a company to that you know, direction where people will be able to you know, visit you in the Gambia to know where your office is located and things like that? Yeah, but yeah, something like that.
I mean, I've set up a company, D-Ray Entertainment Media, but I think it's really, it really comes down to necessity. I think if anything has taught us anything during COVID, we can do a lot without having to be stuck in a physical building.
Exactly.
So I think I'm not going to say no, I'm not going to go, you know, invest in building something somewhere to have an office. I won't say that, but I can contribute without having to have a physical office in the Gambia. Some of the work that you've seen, I've done from here, I've done from the US. So I can do what I need to do to contribute to people's work, to their activity, to help without having a physical space in the Gambia. But again, I just, you know, and I, like I said, I think that it's just, you know, treat people how you want to be treated. Reach out to me, but, you know, just treat people how you want to be treated is the best way that I can put it.
Exactly. And I think that is important. That is very, very important. Dawda. So we go back to Dawda. So Dawda, you were talking about some of the festivals that you were engaged with. Can you tell us that experience, how that has contributed to your music career? Because I think you know, the amount of festivals that I saw from 1994 all the way to 2019, there were many the festivals that you have attended. Can you tell us those experiences?
I mean, it's every festival is you know, give you great experience in either ways, you know, good, bad, or everything. I had a you know, great pleasure first, you know, I traveled with Tara Dindin to Europe, but we were playing for Gambian, Senegalese community, Malian community on those. And then we make one show in Germany where, but it's more like for, you know, for any audience. And then, you know, 97, then I traveled with Pabobo. Then we played some great festivals around UK and in US, in Seattle. And this has been great because in a festival, you always see so many great artists, so many great arts, you know, in a different way. So it's one of the kind of learning place, you know, to be playing at a festival and have the chance to listen to the others. And then I happen to be in a country where, but it has the Europe's second biggest festival. Roskilde Festival is this Europe's second biggest festival. And beside that, you have a Copenhagen Jazz Festival is a very popular jazz festival in Europe. I mean, and from US, you know, they knows about this also. So I have been, you know, privileged to be taking part in many of these festivals with my own and also with many other artists as a sideman. I have played a lot as a sideman, you know, during the years, and I still do.
Okay. So I could remember. I could remember you also performed with Jalimadi Kanute in Finland some years ago. If that is 4 years ago, when Jalimadi was in Finland. Yeah, I remember something like that. Can you tell us? Were you playing together with Jalimadi, or he played and then after you played?
I supposed to play in this festival in Finland with a guy, a great bass player that I have played with many years. And of course, then, in the program, you can see who is playing, I have never met Jalimadi before, but I knew of him and I have listened to his record. I like the record he did with the Senegalese, whereabout he played Gambia, and some other tunes. So then Jalimadi actually wrote to me. He could see that I was going to play. He saw a kora player, Dawda, and then he wrote to me. He said, "Hey, I'm also playing at this festival. I could see you are playing. Will you like to join me and play?" I say, "I'll be delighted, So then they have the festival have organized one extra day for me to stay, and then I could go and practice with Jalimadi and his band at the school whereabout some of his friends goes to. Then we went to the spontaneous like this, just like quick go through rehearsal. And this was a place, so it was the first time to meet Jalimadi, and it was really nice playing with him.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah, well, yeah, that is interesting. So I knew about that some years ago. So Amie, Amie, we coming again on content. We coming back again on content creation because it's important. Yeah. So you know, you were talking about creating content, but again, there is one important part of it that we did not talk about. That is the contractual part of it. You are talking about people reaching out to you when they need you, and then you do things for them. You never see them again. And if I talk about that, most of the time people are not interested because it will talk about politics a little bit and then it will talk about policy. Because in the creative sector, we have what you call employment relationship between the media and the cultural sector. And the reason why that has been initiated, because in the labor laws, most of the works that we do as creative personnel are based on freelance. And then, and that is the reason why the labor laws could not actually define how to be able to demarcate the way cultural personnel are going to be represented with regards to some of the labor that they are doing, like some of the works that they are doing. So in Africa, artists continue to live in precarious conditions because the laws that are strengthening on development, which are 3 or 4. One, that is the intellectual property right, and which implements the Copyright Act of everywhere. And then you also have in the labor laws, and these labor laws also define the working relationship between creative sector players and the media sector. So you are a content creator, and then you are putting all this content on platforms that are generating millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, if you know or you don't know it. So how do you control that as a content creator? That's a question.
Sure.
I want to ask. Yeah.
Sure. So let's start from my blog. So from the blog perspective, you can utilize that platform and place ads based on your traffic. You know how that goes. With the podcast, there are things that you can do within the podcast application where you can monetize. So in terms of those things, there are tools that you can use to monetize. From what I understand, in some circumstances in Gambia, it's a little bit harder, even with YouTube, is what I've heard in terms of monetizing even these pages. So I can't speak to that. But you did kind of mention contracts, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a really tough thing because culturally, for so many reasons, we shy away from agreements. right? And everything is just kind of like a verbal understanding until something goes wrong. And then that verbal understanding is like, well, no, you should understand, like, you understand that this happened, so you just have to let this happen, right? So I think that we just as a community have to just try to do better, and have the tough conversations and create the agreements. For my service, I've created an agreement, and I know that it has caused some people who have come to me not to come back. I know that, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
I understand.
And I understand because at first I was trying to do it the informal way. And there were a lot of people who were fine. I didn't have any issues. But then there were some that were problematic.
Wow.
And so I just decided, you're my cousin, you're my friend. You asked me about the service. I already have something created. I send it to you. And there's no pressure. So when you get it and you're like, oh, no, this is too expensive, or I don't like her terms or whatever, you have full rights to say, no, thank you. Or just never send me a message again. If that's what you want to do, no problem. But I have decided that's how I protect myself, because it's too tedious to have to follow after people for every little tiny thing instead of having the conversation up front, so there's no awkward conversation later on. There's no need to leave for assumption later on. Let's talk about it now before there's any money involved. Let's talk about it now before there's any disbursement of this, that, and the other involved. Let's talk about it now, so when things happen, we just make it happen.
Exactly.
So I would say that I hear what you're saying, though, that there are things that are not happening in the Gambia to protect artists. But what I would say is, if that's not happening, we as artists or we as creatives can do our due diligence to do what we can do to protect ourselves until that happens. Otherwise, what is the alternative?
Dawda is shaking his head all the time. So I think...
No, I mean, excellent. It is excellent.
Yeah. Because what is the alternative? You know what I mean? Like, we can say, this is not happening. It's not happening. We don't have this. We don't have this. And you're right. I'm not disputing that you're right. But in the absence of that, we should do our due diligence to do what we can do.
Exactly. And I think that is another thing, because Dawda, even in his profile, it was mentioned that it is hard to get Dawda. But I know the fact is, for you to be able to reach out to Dawda, you must have to sign a contract with him that you can enable him to move. And the same with Sona Jobarteh. A lot of people will tell you, oh, I tried to reach out to Sona, I could not get her. I said, no, personally, you cannot personally do that to reach out to Sona. The only way is send an email. She will forward the email to the management, and you are going to get in contact with the management, not Sona herself. Maybe at the family level, she can offer that to you, but you don't expect to reach out on telephone immediately and then she pick the telephone and say, hello, I'm here, Sona Jobarteh. So, Dawda, can you tell us something about that? Yeah. These are problems happening in Gambia. If artists do it, they say, oh, this particular artist doesn't know himself. You try to reach out, he did not pick your call. So, because there is some kind of organization, especially with regards to the business that they do. Dawda, what is happening with you with regards to contracts that you are signing? You're doing everything on your own, and how do you do them?
If I have to sign a contract about my record, I have to get a lawyer to look at it before I sign, because that's how it works. Because if anything occur later on, then you can be standing in a better position to try to solve that problem or anything. So I don't sign any contract, especially about a record deal, before I have a lawyer to look at it. I mean, we have a union, music union, whereby they have a lawyer for us who is specialized in this. So I must, kind of show it to someone else than myself was.
Wow. I like that part. So you have a music union in Denmark.
Yes.
So you are part of that music union in Denmark.
Yes.
So the music union have a law firm, and that is supporting the union members.
Yes, exactly.
So if you enter into contractual agreements, so they are the one that support in that regards.
I mean, you get so much papers that you don't understand. I don't understand quarter of that language that is being said in that contract. I mean, one thing to read something, but to understand it, because they use a lot of words that are very much out of the music context. It's about law. So if you just sign a contract because you are happy to be signed by a company, I mean, something really bad can happen later on. I mean, at the moment, I have a contract line in my email, and they are asking, hey, when are you going to sign it? I can't sign it. I have to get a lawyer to look at it first, and that's very important to remember to do that.
Wow. So, Amie, Dawda is giving us another experience here. So, and I think even the Music Union of the Gambia, they know those things. They know that when they are fully up and running, they need a lawyer. They need lawyers, and that was the reason why we had Alma Metal as the president of the CSG, the Collecting Society of the Gambia. So you see, I don't like talking like that with people like Amie because they don't like politics. But again, yeah. So this is not politics. It's not politics. It's about music. But you see, the contractual agreements, they are very, very important, and it is important that whatever we are doing with other people, we should be able to sign those contracts. Because without those contracts, it is not like a normal like working contract, like a contract, an appointment letter, where you get an appointment letter from a company saying, okay, we appoint you as a secretary general, or we appoint you as a creator, or we appoint you as a desk officer. So we will be paying you monthly this particular amount of money. So in the creative sector, that is not happening. So that is the reason why it is always important that we don't enter into verbal agreements. It is happening in the Gambia, but we should shy away from that in the 21st century. So I just want to ask a general question here, both of you. How did COVID-19 impacted on your activities? And then what do you think, both of you, that artists should be able to do, or creative sector players should be able to do to continue on the work that we are doing in this COVID situation?
You go first.
Okay.
First
of all, COVID has affected everyone, everywhere, nearly. I mean, not everyone, but it has been having a big impact, especially the arts. I mean, I'm here, I'm not allowed to play live concerts yet since December. So that has been a big problem, and so we have to do live streamings, and try to be kind of engaging in the social media. But to be honest, actually, for me, it played a really good part also for me, besides not being able to play. First, I get to spend quality time with my family, which was really needed. I was traveling a lot, going everywhere, and hardly at home. Half of my life is almost at a hotel room. So that was a wonderful thing. And then the other wonderful thing is that I was able to actually create a project. I have recorded 2 albums. I finished writing music and recording 2 albums. It's now,
wow.
And if I was not home, I will not be able to do it that fast. It doesn't work in that way. So it has been both kind of a disadvantage, but also advantage for me.
Okay. And I mean, you hear Dawda, you hear what Dawda said, and you, or what is happening for you. I don't think you have too many problems. No, but again, if artists are performing every time, you should be able to have a lot of money.
For me, this time has been very interesting. It's been a blessing, obviously, like he said, been able to spend a lot more time with family, immediate family, right? But then you have like most of my family is in Minnesota in America. So I haven't been able to travel there. Obviously, we haven't been able to travel to Gambia. Well, I guess we could have, but that's a different story. That's a different topic conversation. Anyway.
I mean, somebody was writing here, Osture. I think that's your husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying that's very true. I don't know what he was saying. That's very true.
It's probably responding to us having family time, because that's what I said first. But
okay.
Yeah, and it's been good for me career-wise as well. Like, I've had a lot more time to spend getting my craft together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, understanding my audience, learning new things. I have an amazing mentor who's just been, out of this world, helping me with so many things. So it's been a really good time. Like, I like to call myself an introverted extrovert. Okay. So, but I've met so many people being locked in the house that,
wow.
I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be alive and well, first of all. Grateful, to have opportunities like this. But definitely it hasn't been bad. I'm grateful, thankful to God. It has not been a bad time for me at all.
Okay. So, and my last question will be with regards to the music sector of the Gambia. And before we leave, maybe Dawda will give us another piece of the kora, because the more we hear from him, the more we love our culture, the traditional instrument, which is the kora. So I like the kora so much. So you can play it the whole day, and I will not have any problem. So there is one important.
Before that, can I go back to this thing with the contract? Because I mean, if we are able to kind of inspire how things has to work in Gambia, I mean. For having, we talked a little bit about it before, to having a contract, a standard contract for a tariff, for standard tariff. For example, we say, the minimum tariff everybody has to get here, it's, for example, let's say $1,000. That's the minimum, for all the great artists, that's the lowest you can go, and everybody should agree on that, so that people don't abuse, for example, you have some artist who is working so hard for his art or for her art, and then he say, I charge for $1,000 for minimum, and then somebody come and say, I want to pay $100, and then you just jump on that one, despite with all the hard work this artist is doing. So that's something, it should be kind of standard contract.
The problem with our industry is, I understand what you mean. We need industry standards, but again, we need institutions like the music union that you are having in Denmark. So if all these artists are registered under that union, so they have like what you call procedures to follow. And then following those procedures is going to lead them to professionalism, and that is what we need. And because we have a vacuum which is already created in the sector, so like Amie said, it's going to take time. So, but moving away from that, even though we don't have that, we have to put due diligence with regards to dealing, one-on-one. If Amie is working for me and the quality of work that she is presenting, I should be happy enough to be able to pay her, whatever she requires from me. And if that agreement, if I should do anything, outside that, then that means, that is my own problem. So the thing you have to do is to set your rules, to set your standards, whatever you are dealing with. There was a television company wanted to get music videos from Gambian artists, and then for these artists to be able to supply those music videos to them. And then when the artists informed the music union, we decided to say, okay, we're going to enter into contract with the TV station. So the moment paperwork was placed in front of them, they shy away from the contract. They stop the engagement. So, so you see, so it would have been better. So what they did was they were like, individually contacting artists and then making those agreements with those artists. So that is the problem. So, and what can we say if if somebody will not stand there to say, oh yeah, you don't have to sign those contracts with them. You don't have to sign, because at the end of the day, our culture. So, people might think you are fighting for something or whatsoever. So
No,
that is
actually,
the problem.
And
Yeah.
can I just say something? I think
Mhm.
I think that also we need to be able to just know what we don't know and ask,
Mhm.
right?
Exactly.
I can remember there was a time when I was singing, and I can't even remember which phone company it was.
Mhm.
They had called, I think it was about 10 of us to a
Mhm.
meeting, and
Mhm.
they asked us to sign something. They gave us this stack of documents and
Mhm.
they asked us to sign it. They said, we need you guys to sign this right here now, so we can do X, Y, and Z. And I just left. I left.
Yeah.
I didn't like the energy. It just didn't feel right. And it was very like, you need to do this right now. And you're giving me a stack of stuff and you want me to just read it right now and sign it and give you rights to whatever I've been working for.
yeah.
And
So,
it goes back to what Dawda was saying, is sometimes an opportunity comes and you're excited and you're happy that this opportunity has come, and you just go for it because maybe you've been working so hard and all you want to do is have, be able to say that my song is on a phone, on
Again.
a phone or whatever.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I think people don't ask for help because they're often ridiculed for the bad
Mhm.
decisions that they make.
Exactly.
Right. And we
Mhm.
just need to face the reality that there are a lot of people that are really talented that just do not know.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
if we continue to ridicule the ones that are doing really well and just are making really bad decisions, they shy away from it and they become stubborn. And yes, we can say, well, that's their problem. It doesn't serve them, et cetera, et cetera. But when these are the greatest talents that are coming out of the Gambia, for example, let's just say, and
Mhm.
we continue to ridicule them for decisions that they make when maybe they don't know and they're in a system that is not really a system. Can
So
we blame
yeah.
them?
Yeah, exactly. I think that is the same story I was trying to say, because we need that advocacy and we need that awareness with regards to some of these policy issues that are surrounding our neck with regards to the creative sector. And we need people like Dawda. We need people like you to share your experiences all the time with some of these platforms that are happening, so that other people also can learn from that. I think we need so many forces to be able to bridge that gap. So Dawda, is very unfortunate, but that is how it is going on in the in the Gambia. If you don't take a contract of 200,000, and someone else will go and take 10,000, so it's difficult. Uh
But
huh.
but but
Mm-hmm.
again, we often will look at the issue when it comes, but let's not forget what creates that issue. What is that desperation that makes someone say, I'm going to take that 10,000 because I need it? So there's a deeper rooted issue that's there that
Mm-hmm.
that is encouraging that type of behavior. I'm not saying it's right. I will
Mm-hmm.
say it's selfish behavior, but we just
Mm-hmm.
don't know. And also have a culture of sutura, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Mm-hmm.
know what that artist is left at home.
Exactly.
We don't know if
Exactly.
their mother is ill or if they had dinner last night. We really don't know. So
Exactly.
when we continue this idea of people are selfish, ridicule, they don't want to do things as a union or together, it could be deeper than that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that we have to try to really figure that out. And I'm not saying that's our role only as musicians or artists or creatives, But I think that it has to be a conversation across sectors as well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I totally agree with you. And it has to do with inclusion and representation more often than not. And then we realize that not to say we realize that. I will not use I. We realize that in the findings that we have done over the years, like the participation and the representation, because the traditional griot a musician who is based in his cultural home loved to go to his batufa to sing for them, and they gave him like about a 10,000 or a 5,000. Doesn't really care about what is happening in Lama Lama or at the Independence Stadium, because they do this daily. And that is how they feed their families. So you cannot necessarily try to even set up those managerial rules to say this is how you have to do your thing. We find it difficult with some of them that we've been working with, and then we came to understand. But they also have another very important advantage, and that is what we are saying: growing the fan base. The traditional griots, they don't have that problem because they have this what you call batufals everywhere. So when they organize their shows, these are the fans who are coming from the communities to go and attend their musical programs. So you see, so
Yeah.
you visit them in this side, and they are great in the other side. So how can you bridge the gap? How can we bridge that gap? Is to be able to consider the traditional knowledge as well as also the conventional knowledge and bring them all together. Maybe that will be able to help us in the nearest future. But one last question. We have seen a twist in the music sector of the Gambia. In the 1970s, in the 1980s, of the Ifam Bondis and the Gelawals and the Super Eagles and all those magnificent bands in the Gambia before, don't have the opportunity to fill up stadiums. And I can't say concert venues because during that time I was not born, so I don't know whether they were filling concert venues, but I know we are having like 20-30,000 audience attending a musical show right now in the Gambia. Before, the Senegalese were dominating those areas because they were coming and getting a lot of public, like a lot of fans, in most of their performances. That is happening to the young generational musicians that are coming up in the Gambia. What do you all say to that? Can we start with Dawda? Dawda, what do you say to that?
I mean, first of all, Gambia is inside Senegal, and Senegal is much bigger. The bigger population. So therefore, the only difference we have Senegal and Gambia is the English and French. Otherwise, things are basically the same. So if you make a great record in Senegal, 1 minute, the next minute is in the Gambia, and it's kicking and it's nice. So, and we speak the same language. You have Wolof in Gambia, you have Wolof in Senegal. So the Mbalak, the Senegalese music is for both. You understand what I mean? So therefore, that have dominated, the Gambian music scene very much for a long time, because it's just the fact that they are, there are many more Senegalese great bands than Gambia, not because we cannot do, but just because we are much more smaller. You understand? So therefore, and so if you want to try to do some music that will impact people, I don't think you should try to copy someone. And if you copy someone, you have to do at least as good as them, or even better. So if you try to play Mbalak into Mandinka music, but it's not as good as Senegalese, then it will be difficult to convince your audience that hey, I'm trying to kind of serve you as the Senegalese. So that brought a bit of a dilemma in the music scene in the Gambia. As Amie was saying before, to be authentic, it is very, very, important, to be yourself, to try to create something that it's working. So I think that some of the young artists, they find that, I think, for me, I'm really proud to see many young artists coming to the Independent Stadium and feeling it like ST, Delimadi is playing at a great venues, with a lot of, audience and everything. So I think that is changing a little bit. It's very important, to try to reach, if you can speak to the audience, if you can, they understand you, you speak to them, then you will get them. And I think ST is doing that. ST is trying to raise social problems, things that are happening, he's speaking. And even the child, they understand what he's saying. If you try to make people to understand you, then they will follow you. So I think all this is playing a part whereby we have to be ourselves to try to do something that is speaking. I mean, last time I saw a program with you and Delimadi, and there was a discussion about Delimadi is doing Senegalese music. I think it's wrong for somebody to say you cannot do this music or you can't do this music. Music has no boundary. Senegal is Gambia. Gambia is Senegal. It's two different countries. But if we have to be honest, the culture is very much the same. We are so in. And if Delimadi is he's singing in Mandinka and the music is kicking so nicely, I think there is no problem at all to kind of present that kind of music because it's basically the same place. So this is how I see the things.
Exactly. I most totally agree with you. Like we said, music has no boundary and is a universal language. So Gambia and Senegal sharing the same tradition or whatsoever. So there is no problem Gambian playing mbala. And someone will tell you, oh, if you need to play real mbala music, you have to be able to eat that delicious benachin. So the people that there was a Senegalese producer who was telling me something like that. I said, wow. He said, you have fonga muna lekambala before, benachin before, then nga muna play mbala bu sap. Why fogna jalemadi mu nge play mbala bu sap de. mbala mo wa.
I think playing Balabusap, I think it is well nicely done. So I think in that way it's nice. It's fine for me.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. It's that. Paus. Are you inside? Hang in there, Kebama. Great. So I'm over here at the studio. But I think great images and audio today. Thank you so much, Paus. Amie, your brother is talking. So, Amie, what is your view with regards to that?
In regards to how well Gambians are doing right now, like
exactly, yeah, the momentum is just trailing. Yeah?
I think it's amazing. Especially given what we've just talked about today, the many challenges that artists are facing to be able to have rights to their music, to be able to get money from their music, to have a livelihood, to see all of those challenges and still see young people thriving, in their own ways and being authentic to themselves, to their communities. I think it's amazing. I think we're seeing something that's so beautiful unfold in front of us. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what else comes from that. And it's inspiring because imagine how many young people are looking at these artists and saying, I want to be the next.
Exactly.
It's one thing to see someone else from over there that did that over there, but to see someone who lives on your block or who lives in your neighborhood or who's come from where you've come from do that, and you can that it can happen, and you hear in the songs that he talks about or she talks about her journey or his journey, how they got there, and you relate to that and it resonates. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I think it just comes full circle. I can't imagine how, ST or Jizzle or Attack, or Showbiz or Cess, how any of them feel today standing on stages and seeing and feeling that energy coming back after the work that they put in. I mean, it's got to be fulfilling. It's a full circle, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we must say that we are all happy about that, and a lot of people may argue about the quality or the professionalism whatsoever. But I think at some point also we have to accept that some things are working well, and it is not only because of what they are doing today, but it's also a culmination of all what you people were doing before, and then some of the great things that Dawda and the others have also been doing, and then our elders, like the days of the Ifambonde, what they were doing. So the dancehall masters, the born Africans, the tea smalls and the sing artists. So all what they were doing. So bringing all that together, that is what is taking us this far. So we must say, yeah.
I just want to say one
Now,
thing on that. Just let me add one thing on that. That we also, as a community, let's try to deglo finish for me.
the glue, I can not with all.
Yes,
Exactly.
I think because we are human. Sometimes the person who is giving you the message, you may not have good ties with them, or you don't like their energy, but they're saying something that is sensible, right? So sometimes I'm online and I see the engagements, and people will discount something that makes sense. Or not, or try to read between the lines. Sometimes let's just take it for what it is. Don't argue about it. Take it in, move. Not everything has to be an argument. Not everything has to be a back and forth. Sometimes just take what you can from it.
Exactly, and I think that is very important, because a lot of people, especially in the sector, we just need to agree to disagree to agree, most of the time. And then we should always remember, no matter how stupid a comment might be, every opinion counts. And then and that is why in the development field we do prioritization, and sometimes an important activity could be dislodged, not because it is not important for the people, but because there are priorities that have been taken in place. So that is also important. So I don't know whether I'm making sense, but I think a lot of people here should be able to understand that. Dawda,
Yes.
give us the last piece of the Korah before we close this chapter, and that will be the end of the program. So, Dawda, with the Korah, and then bye bye. Yeah, you can all say your last words. I'm tired now. Yeah.
Great. It was lovely to be here, with you, Carl and Amie. It's very inspiring, and we keep on inspiring our youths in the Gambia also.
Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Listen. Jali inumbara bake jali mbafula nyadi la sumu diatale jali konsa for sumu diatale yalo I try to talk like the griot stock but not because I'm a griot but I was in a griot compound. I used to stay in a griot compound. So yeah, so you reminded me of those days. Thank you so much, Jali Dawda, for coming. Sumu biata bakir mbafla mandinka kaun. So I mean, your last words.
If an able to pass, baraka able to pass.
Okay, nana me euro fire mala nyatu do monding. Ha. No. Okay. Okay. So I just want to read something here with regards to Gambia Talent TV. They wrote something important for Amie. I am glad to see Amie Dibba on the screen. For the records, she is one of the first Gambian artists that Gambian Talent promote back in 2006 to 2012. She has contributed greatly to the formation of Gambia Talent's promotion, which initiated the Gambia Talent TV. I used to co-host a blog with her, and together we tap, nurture, and promote several Gambian talents. And I must say, she is a great talent herself. She used to be a strong a songwriter, poet, singer, TV presenter, and guess what? She even recorded her own songs. She is a real gem. Tell her hi. I think that is coming from Pa Usman Jove. Pa Usman, thank you so much for those words of appreciation. And then Master Lion is saying, great SoCal, you have my own Jali Dawda. Master Lion Lamin Ture from Brikama. And yeah, so Ture Mandimor.
We grew up together in landing.
Wow, wow. So Nake Balong, he's my big brother. And Uncle Badujo of Ifambondi, the old generational musicians. He is saying Ifambondi exploited Senegal to the max. So why are current artists not doing the same? I think, yeah. So this is the beauty of the discussion. Even Uncle wants the young generation to exploit Senegal. So you can see the inspiration. So yeah, we're going to take that. Thank you so much, Uncle Badu, for those wise words. I think artists are going to follow. I mean, your husband was one time saying it's true, so your husband is no more around. So, Oz, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Yeah, your lady is in safe hands. She is doing fine. So, I mean, we want to close this chapter. Your last word to the viewers of the Gambia Talent TV. Yeah.
No, I'll just say thank you again for having me, for sharing the platform with me. And thank you, Dawda. It was nice to meet you as well. Just to tell people to always believe in yourself, regardless of what space you're working in. That it may be a challenging time for a lot of people out there for different reasons, but never allow anyone to say anything or do anything to you that makes you change your character or be someone that you're not. Believe in yourself, push forward. Some days will be easier than others. Some days will be hard, but you got this. Whoever you are, if you're listening, just keep forging ahead, whether you're an artist, a healthcare worker, whoever you are out there. That's my word for today. You got this.
Thank you so much, Amie. And Dawda, ila last word, badi will be jibeka. Sakore tabu, corrupt loyalty. So ila batu fal baby la all over the world and people watching you. Your last words.
Mfarang, I want to say thank you for having me here. It was really nice talking to you, Carl, and nice to meet Amie, to discover another great talent from the Gambia. And as Amie said, we just have to be ourselves and try to work hard. Everything comes from hard work. There is nothing like Moria or anything back way. Everything has to be worked hard. So that's what I believe. If you are an artist, you want to be an artist, you have to practice. You have to practice. Is the only way. There is no other way around. That's the fact. So, and there are so much talent in that country, And one thing we have to understand: music is not only Jalia. Music is a occupation, It's a job. There is no jelly in Tubabdu. If you say jelly in Tubabdu, they don't know what that is. So there is artists in every one of us. You don't need to be jelly to be able to do art. We all have music in us. So we just have to go for it, love it, do it with a passion, and you will achieve your goal one way or the other.
Wow, thank you so much, Dawda Jobarteh, and thank you so much, Amie Dibba. I must say we are exceedingly glad to have these two important people with us tonight. And like we said, it is the Showbiz in Focus, looking into the cultural sector of the Gambia, and to start that discussion with, stakeholders who are all over the world to be able to discuss issues that are confronting our sector and to find solutions to them. Until you come our way next time, I am your host, Kalilu Banja, and I'm saying good night to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.